Sunday night meeting in here, after an emotional Saturday, afternoon and evening. Started off with my players. First thing I said as I sat here at the podium was, apologizing for our guys, to our football team, to our guys, about my post-game comments, which didn't obviously come out the way I intended them to come out. And sometimes that happens, but I look at it over the last really 48 hours, 24 hours, there's nothing worse than a loss. Loss, hurt. And the first thing I do is jump on a plane and I'm watching the video on my iPad, but, the loss hurts. Everybody in that locker room is hurt. But when you feel like your players are hurt, by something the head coach said, that hurts you even worse. It makes you sick to your stomach. So I didn't get a whole lot of sleep on Saturday night, I can promise you that. I talk about our guys all the time about, our program goals, and I won't get into four of them, which have been here since I've been here, 8.5 seasons, is relationships. It's the number one thing we talk about all the time. And the relationships that I have with our players is critical, and that never, ever can change. And when you don't have a relationship with your team, you got an issue. And again, I had a great team meeting with them last night. I think they know where I'm coming from or where I was coming from. I think they get it. And, the relationship's everything. It's why I coach. It's what I do. It's what I've done for years. And, to me, it's always been, the players love the coaches and the coaches love the players. If you don't have that, you got issues. So I feel really good at where we are going into this week. Obviously, we closed a chapter on the game last night as well. With a special teams meeting in here that we always finish with, and watched some things we did on special teams or didn't do. Prior to that, we watched offense and defense. And when you look at it again, it all starts with me. I wasn't happy with the way we got prepared or the way we played. And if we don't play good, it comes back to me. So I obviously didn't have the guys ready to play like I'd like to. Our coordinators obviously didn't have the guys ready to play like we'd like to on either side of the ball. Because it always comes back to us. And I always say this, it's about the details, it's about the inches. And, if we're not getting that done, to me, what you see is what you coach. And somehow we got to get it executed better. I know we've got a lot of young guys playing, and I think experience is your best teacher. And, I look at Christian, who's really played well since he's been, taken over that starting job. And he obviously, didn't play his best game, but you watch some of the great plays he makes, and you're like, yeah, okay. But go back to, you look at the experience is critical. He hasn't even played as many games as Christian's played, or as Kenny Pickett played his freshman year when he came in and played 4 games as a true freshman. He will get much better every game. And experience is the best teacher, and you can't force feed that. We have to have patience as coaches. And that's just one position I'm talking about, but every position is the same way. But so I got to do a better job making sure they're ready to go. Our coaches have got to do a better job of making sure we get it, whether we got to keep it simpler and cut back on offense and defense, just to make sure we execute better, because it comes down to execution. And if they're not executing, it's half on us and half on them. It's a team win and a team loss whenever we stand in here. So we got to do a better job. And again, the big thing is you learn from them, and you hope you don't make the same mistakes twice. A lot of things we worked on that we saw, and we just didn't react to it well, against a great football team. So we'll clean those up, and that's what our guys do. That's what we do as coaches. And again, I think patience for us has got to be key for us, for our coaches to continue to move. And then we got probably the best team we're going to play of the year. I mean, I think they're ranked 4th in the country. My USA Today coach, Paul, I've had him at 2 for a long time. I think they're, I've watched them earlier in the year. I've had a chance to peek at them. And, Travis Jordan, Mike Norvell's done an outstanding job there in his time there. He's an excellent coach. He's also the offensive coordinator. I think Jordan Travis is playing about as high level as any quarterback in the country. And we got a great football team, and that's kind of where our focus is going, right to them. And focused on that last night after our team meeting. We break up and go offense, defense again, and just get onto the new page. And I think that's always a good way to end our meeting. So we're ready to go, and it's Monday, so let's go. Questions?
Did your players express any personal concern to you about your remarks?
About what?
About your remarks. Did they come to you and say they were concerned about what you said?
No. I went to them first. I talked to some guys on the airplane, to be honest with you. But I think you only get pieces of things sometimes in the world we're in, and I think they feel good. Like I said, 9 years. Nobody is I guess, graded on one night, whether it's a player or whether it's a coach, and whether it's your play or whether it's what you say. Nobody. I mean, there's always another Saturday, and there's always another presser. There's always the next. So to me, you're not defined in one game or one afternoon. You're defined over time, and I think over time, my guys are my guys. I love my guys. Shoot, the only thing, my message to them, and I know how they're hurting after that loss. But my major message was, hey guys, I don't care. I love you guys. I wouldn't trade you for anything. Period. Those are my guys, and that's the way it always will be.
You said the way it came out was, quote, not the way I intended. What were you trying to convey in that moment?
I don't even think it's up for discussion. I really don't need to get into it, Will. But it comes down to experience, okay? And I obviously did a poor job about it, and it doesn't even matter at this point. So I'd rather just move on.
Did any of your players give you any sort of feedback when you talked to them about your post-game remarks?
Yeah, they were all good and said, Coach, I totally understand. They were all great. I've had meetings with them, last night, even individual, if someone wanted to come see me, and also a couple this morning that I caught back up with it. I said, hey, come, my door's always open down there. Okay, my door's always open, whether I'm in a meeting, I get, Vicky will pull me out of a meeting. I'm going to meet with our guys all the time, so the door's always open. I think they all get it pretty clear.
Pat, when you have...
And there's no excuses. That's why it doesn't matter what I intended. It doesn't matter. There's no excuses. It doesn't matter. So
when you have something like that that gets that kind of attention, and you've got kids in 6 to 8 weeks that you're going to want to come to sign a commitment here, do you worry that that sort of comment can play to the outside of this room and the people that might be considering come here and might affect that decision?
I think again, you're graded over what you've done for 9 years. Okay. And you can go back to Phil Dracova for 5 weeks or whatever weeks it was, where it's loyalty. I always have loyalty to our football team, period. And you can look at that, and then you can look at 1 6-second snippet in which one you're going to go with. So that's up to you.
You made a comparison to what Christian's the kind of year Christian's having right now in situations, and to what Kenny was going through in his freshman year. Do you see them as kind of in the same vein, their situation in the same vein as Christian, someone you're long-term invested in, as a starter for a while? I
think it's every player. You look at Terrancino's played a pretty darn solid game at right tackle. His first start, he had 5 plays up until Saturday, guys. We look at the inexperience we have on our field. He did a heck of a job. And again, he's only going to get better from it. But guys learn, again, whether it's Kenny Pickett. Everybody said he had a breakout year in 21, wins the championship, right? Nobody was talking about him in 2020 or 19. And again, all of a sudden, like, hey, what happened? Okay, what's called experience, and I think, like I said, that's the deal. When Damar Hamlin, I'll go back to just another position. You could talk about Kalijah Cansey. When Damar Hamlin graduated, I'm like, whew, and I probably sat in here probably after, whether it was in the spring or spring ball, replacing Damar Hamlin. That's big shoes to fill. That guy was a football player and did a great job at that free safety spot, which I think is one of the most critical. And Eric Howell was the guy to step up. Okay, and you didn't know he was going to step up like he did. Okay, but experience, and he may have started slow that 21 season, but he finished strong, and finished strong with 22. So it's just experience. Guys, the only way you learn is when you get beat. I hate to tell you, you get beat, you learn, and if you only have success, then maybe you didn't play anybody, but you win. And you learn based on experiences, and whether it's a right tackle in Terrancinos or Damar Hamlin or Hallett, doesn't matter what it is. We've got some experienced positions on our football team, and we got some inexperience, and those are growing pains that, like I said to our coaches, we got to be patient with them, and we got to do a better job coaching them. We got to do a better job coaching them, and I told them 10 times, tell them 12 times, tell them 15 times. We just keep coaching. That's what we do.
Just looking at your upcoming opponent, what stands out? There's so much that stands out, but what do you think is going to be the most difficult thing to defend with this Florida State offense?
Ooh. It's Wilson on one side and Keon Coleman on the other side, and Travis. You cover those guys, he's taking off running. He is athletic. He's smart. Obviously, Coach Norvell, does a great job. And again, we played him, and we played Travis in 2020. During the COVID year, and got him down there, and he ended up getting hurt before the half, I believe. And he had a big run on us early, and we kind of got experience from that first run that he took, 80 yards or whatever it was. We had a defensive end run up the field, and you learn. It's a play you didn't see, and you learn, and then all of a sudden we shut it down and play. But, Travis is a different player in 2020 than he is right now, correct? I mean, I don't know how many games they won in 20. I haven't gone back and looked at that. But you look at where he is and what experience has done for him, period. We can talk Kenny Pickett, you can talk him as well. He's playing at a high level. He doesn't make, what's he got, 18 TDs and 2 interceptions. The guy doesn't make mistakes. And he's confident, and, the guy plays with swagger, too. I mean, he gets a run. I mean, he looks like he's a linebacker, just the emotion. He plays with emotion and passion, and, he is the leader of that football team, guaranteed.
At their sports information people put out last night, they're the only team in the country that's allowed less than 50% completions.
Who is?
Florida State.
They've allowed less than 50%.
Less than 50% complete that. What makes their secondary so good?
Every good secondary has a good D-line, right? They got some athletic ends that rush up the field. One from the University of Albany, that's a game wrecker. He's special, and but they got athletes all over the field. They're athletic, they're well coached, and I've had great conversations with Mike Norvell through the years, and his team plays with toughness, physicality, and they believe, and they play hard, and that's what our football team is like, and I think he's got the same kind of thing.
Do you worry about that belief being affected by what happened on Saturday?
Not at all. Not at all. Again, coaches aren't happy with Saturday, and neither are the players. The players know. They watch the tape. It's our job as coaches to put our guys in position to make plays. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we're in position to make plays and we don't make them. That's physical. We talk about structural is probably a coach. Man, that was a terrible call versus that play they had. And then there's the physical and the mental. And there were some physical errors and there's mental errors, and that's where our guys aren't happy about how they executed. And sometimes really good teams like Notre Dame. Notre Dame was a good football team. I mean, really good. And they lost to Ohio State by 3 at home, and gave up 17 points to the Buckeyes and knocked the heck out of USC. So it's a good football team. We didn't get beat by an average football team.
When you play a lot of young guys this year, or guys at least that are new here, vice versa. When they have that sort of struggles, do you have to approach that differently than if you had a veteran team that had sort of been through the ups and downs, and you could say, look, I'm sure that they're going to bounce back?
Yeah, not really. I mean, you got to treat them all the same because the standard is a standard, right? I mean, every Saturday we go out, we believe we're going to win, okay? And again, like I said, it's my fault. Mentally, we got to be locked into the point we execute. And ultimately, it comes down to motivation and being, totally locked into what your job is. And whether they were or whether they weren't, it's still my fault if it doesn't get done.
How do you address some of the errors that were made on special teams on Saturday?
Just keep going back to the drawing board. I was under the standing. One of Junko's punt hit a wire up there, which I would hope someone would see. I don't know if they got to put an electric fence up there, hit the, that sky cam or whatever. We had a couple high snaps, which we haven't had all year, but I've seen high snaps go over people's heads and not be caught. So there's a lot of good things on tape, guys. I mean, when you look at it offensively, defensively, there's some shots we missed, that we threw to and missed. There's some shots offensively that, we look to the wrong side of the field. And again, it comes with experience and understanding coverages and just taking your time and, in the pocket and not rushing your throws. But when there's pressure at times, with guys coming off the edge or coming up the middle, sometimes that happens. But some of the special teams, Amanda, that we got to address is just a finish. I mean, that first punt return, which was a punch in the gut. We got 2 guys on the tackle, we just didn't finish. And again, I give that guy credit because he's a good punt returner. But those are things I think our guys are disappointed. It's not like we were nowhere to be found. And again, our job is to we had a good net on that one. And like I said, I may have mentioned this after the game. There's nobody I trust more than MJ Devonshire to return a punt. And he's got a nice fair catch at the 10-yard line one time, and he doesn't call fair catch. But I think guys become desperate at times to make a play, and MJ's a playmaker. And sometimes we can't. You got to take that Superman cape off your back and make sure you just play within the framework of the team. And a lot of faith in him, and he's just trying to make a play, and you can't do that.
At the last 2 years, you've gone into the portal to get quarterbacks. Do you feel a little bit better about the position this year with Christian?
Feel great with Christian. Feel great with Nate Yarnell. You saw how he performed when he got in there too. So like I said, I said that back in camp, and each one of them continue to grow every week. Is Christian where he is right now compared to where he was game one or in fall camp? He's way far ahead. I think every week he becomes more confident in what he's doing and how he's doing it, and every week he sees a different coverage or sees this or that and has a better feel of what he's got to do. Is only going to make him better. And I think I feel good with that quarterback room.
I think we ask you about running backs just about every week, but I'm curious, what does Rodney need to do to get more opportunities, to get more carries in the game?
Rodney ran well on Saturday. Rodney ran well. We obviously got into throwing it a little bit more than we'd like to. However, the game plan going in was really to throw it. And if you go back and watch the tapes, it's slow motion. I don't know if you guys don't have the all 11 like we do. I don't think you do. But you watch TV copy, you don't see really where the routes are, what they did. Even on the pick six, we hope he hits the hole shot, which is there's a guy wide open. They're playing a two trap, but that comes with experience, and every quarterback's gone through that.
Hey, your wiggle room is out, is gone if you wanted to.
What?
Your wiggle room in terms of absorbing any more losses if you want to be bowl eligible is gone. Is that something that even comes up at this point, or are you just trying to
Want to know. Look at it, hey, we played a great team last week. We're playing a greater team this week, and our focus is on Florida State. We get them at home. Hope it's 32 degrees out, and the fields, I think we're going to let the grass grow because it's a fast football team. We're playing one at a time, and I'm not worried about bowl eligibility. I care about winning a football game, and I care about coaching our football team and getting them prepared to play that game physically, mentally, and emotionally.
How about a couple more before we wrap up?
Yeah, Gavin came out of that game with no targets. Was Notre Dame focusing on him? Was that something that just wasn't available to you?
We probably rotated our tight ends maybe more than we should have, but we try to keep those guys fresh. I actually had a conversation with Gavin this morning. I called him. I think he had 27 total snaps, but usually, our tight ends are getting more snaps than they had. We didn't go much 12 personnel because we didn't like 12 against Notre Dame, just because of what the box was going to look like and how they would play us if we put everybody in the box. And so, you didn't get the two tight ends that are getting more snaps. We just kept those guys fresh if they're running routes, and so they were balanced out more. As a head coach, I'd like to see Gavin obviously get more targets and play more plays. I think we got to keep him on the field.
Is that what you said you called him this morning? Is that what you were trying to communicate to him?
Well, I asked him. I said, "Hey, how you doing?" And no doubt about it, like you only had 27. How you doing? I wasn't happy with it when I saw the play count.
About wanting to create more splash plays earlier in the season. Obviously, these last 3 games you have multiple interceptions. How do you try to get the offense to take some more advantage of those splash plays and try to obviously?
Just got to hit them. Got to see them. Got to hit them. Got to protect them. And again, it's a team game, and it takes 11 guys, whether it's pressure one time or not seeing a crossing route, whatever it may be, or the receiver's not running fast enough across the field to get in the quarterback's vision. I mean, there's little details. They're trying to sometimes sit in holes, and depending on the coverage. But we got to get in front of the quarterback, and we got to make throws, and we got to make catches, and we got to protect. And it's 11 guys, and then we as coaches got to put them in better position to make plays.
Well, I think you've
All
got
the time, not just sometimes.
Well, I always got one more question.
Yeah,
This is a little off topic. I mean, how important is red zone defense as opposed to total defense? Do you consider that, like that section of the field, do you judge it differently? I mean, I don't care how many yards I give up, but when they get to the 20, we got to stop them.
Ultimately, if you get down inside the red zone, our goal is to give up a field goal, and that's what we did at the end of the half. That's a win for us when they kick field goals. But we game plan every situation. Whether it's P and 10, normal downs in normal areas of the field, but defensively we game plan. Offensively games plan the same thing. I mean, you got stuff you want to do in the red zone offensively and defensively, and ultimately you're great at what you do when you get to the red zone. Obviously, offensively, we didn't get to the red zone, so that's a place we need to get first before you can execute the red zone.
Okay. Coach, thank you very much.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Have a good one.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow.
Everyone did see that Florida State is 3:30, and the